What is up, everybody? Lyle, No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. If you're checking this out on the replay, I'm gonna wait for a few people to get in here. If there's anybody coming in, there's a little bit of action going on today, so who knows what's gonna be going on. What is up, whoever just came in? Dave Boyd, what's going on? I'm just chilling out here at a quick trip in Wisconsin. Rich's River Smokers, what's up? Just sitting out here at the quick trip with the K in Wisconsin. Just got done spending all the dough up at the terminal. Just got all brand new tires, DOT inspection, alignment. So, anyway, I'm still trying to figure out why people say it's hard to get off the yard. I've been going in and out of that yard forever, and I've always been able to get out as fast as I've wanted to. I mean, within reason, you know what I'm saying? So, Peg Leg, what's up? So I got to the terminal. I don't even remember what day it is. Maybe it's like a Monday. And so I get to the terminal on Monday about noon. Schedule my appointment to get my tires done. Anyway, I scheduled the appointment to get all that stuff done. Now, I couldn't schedule the appointment because all the bullshit you got to go through now. So anyway, all that stuff got scheduled. Boom. So I'm supposed to have a tire appointment for like 2 o'clock in the morning. Got me in there like 6 in the evening. Boom. Went in there, got that done. Got the alignment done real quick. And then the next day I was supposed to have an appointment at 3 p.m. to get the DOT inspection and that carb compliance shit. But as soon as I got done with the alignment, went up to Walmart, picked up some stuff, bounced back to the terminal, went through the assessment bay. Man, by the time I got parked and just got settled down just a little bit, they're like, we got an appointment open if you want to grab it. Boom. I was like, okay. So went over there, got everything done. And then by like 3 o'clock, I was on a load out of there. A load picking up in Marshall, Missouri, going to, damn, where did that load go? Oh, I got a red light camera today, too. Hey, all I can say is my fault. I'm going down like a 5% grade in like a, kind of like one of them little-ass towns, you know what I'm saying? And there's just going to be no way to stop. So it is what it is. What am I going to do? Cry about it? It was going to Cedar Falls, Iowa, to that Target up there. So I get to the Target. Yeah, actually, that's not a bad cargill up there. And it was 10,000 pounds. I could have hauled that shit in my damn truck, in my personal truck. So anyway, I get up there to the Target, and they're like, well, this load was rescheduled, but whoever rescheduled it did it wrong. You're not supposed to go in and create a new appointment. You're supposed to go in there and revise the old appointment and all that kind of stuff. And my 14 was running. I only had like an an hour and a half left on my 14 or 2 hours, something like that. And so anyway, try to get all that stuff done. I'm telling them I can't, my clock's about to run out. You know, at first I told them my clock's about to run out. I figured they'd be able to understand what I'm saying. So I get an appointment back like 2 hours later. I was like, listen, I can't do that. The earliest I could do it is like 1700. I get an appointment back at 14, or not 1700. Yeah, 1700. I get another appointment back at 1530. And I was like, listen, I already told you guys I can't do this, but I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to be a little bit late. I told him that. But I just had to, you know, didn't log, no inspection, none of that. Just went from sleeper to drive to out like that quick. Got up there, got unloaded pretty quick. Got a pre-plan. Picking up in Cherokee, Iowa. Oh, that's right. So in the meantime, while I'm waiting for this appointment to get scheduled, or actually before this fuck up happened, I forget, they sent me a pre-plan going to somewhere I hated. This is the Lemons into Lemonade. So before all this madness happened with Target, I get a pre-plan picking up, I don't even remember where it's picking up, going to the Piggly Wiggly in Bessemer, Alabama. Those of you guys been there, unless things have changed, that place is a mess. And then some other place in Alabama. Wasn't too happy about going to that Piggly Wiggly, I gotta tell you. And really wasn't all that happy to go down to Alabama, to be honest with you. So luckily that little appointment mishap allowed me to get this load that I'm on now, Cherokee, Iowa to Jefferson, Wisconsin. So that's kind of what I'm on now. I'm about 192 miles away for a 13:30 appointment tomorrow. I would get closer, but there really isn't much along this road I'm on right now. There's a few little places down there, but they look like they get full, kind of. So anyway, what's up, Tammy? So that's kind of what's going on here. Now, YouTube's been a little lit lately. We've been having some false prophets and wannabe coaches out there that really shouldn't be giving advice. What's up, Slime Pack? So, any new people that are in here, man, don't, first of all, take advice from people that are doing shit that you want to do. If there's anybody new listening to this, don't take advice from anybody that's been at 14 different jobs and, you know, come on. Anyway, if you know, you know. Tito's and Soda, what's up? From Indy. Yeah, this place I'm delivering to tomorrow. Checking in, you got to park off the street and all this kind of stuff. You can get there early. I'm just not a fan of parking on the street. But I'm going to get there early, see if they can get me unloaded. Misfit Flatbedder, I've had 14 different jobs, had 11 in a year. Hey, when I was in the car business, I used to do all that stuff, but I wouldn't necessarily pattern myself after somebody that wanted to be super successful in the car business either, though. I haven't done a video in a while, but I'm going to do one about the BS that others are putting out. Buckle up. Yeah. Listen, I don't got a problem with anybody talking about their experience at Prime and all this kind of stuff. But when you have so many people being successful and you're supposed to be a truck driver who has all the experience and has no excuse but to succeed, and you come and fail and then want to throw Prime under the bus and talk about 99-cent fuel. Listen, our fuel's 99 cents if you take the fuel surcharge and subtract everything out and do the math on that. But anyway, that doesn't matter. I'm not even gonna continue even speaking about that shit. Uh, let's see. What's up, Wyoming? How long I've been holding the steering wheel? I was holding it for about 5 hours today. Almost 7 years if you want to talk about how long I've been driving. Notice even at this quick trip here, it looked like one of those places where all it takes is one person to pull up a little too far to kind of put you in a bad situation. It's got those angled parking spots like some of them rest areas, but boom, I always got to think about, hold on a second. I always got to think about me leaving on the way out. So I parked down here at the end where I could use all that space to get out. Misfit flatbedder, I did what I had to do. When I found a better job, I jumped, I kept running. Man, there ain't nothing wrong with that. And listen, if somebody leaves, because I know a bunch of people that have left Prime, Romaine the trucker being one, might have thrown a little bit more shade than I may have, but when you leave and then try to blame, like, listen, anybody knows what I'm talking about. If you failed this many times, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with failing, but if you keep repeating the shit over and over again, you know, generally there's one common denominator. So, yeah. What's up, Gary? I'm getting a little worn out right now. Man, Travis Kinley ain't back at Prime. If he is, I'd have to go take a look at Facebook to see if he's actually at Prime or if this is a joke. I don't know anything about Travis being back. Last time I saw on Facebook, he was posting all kinds of happy pictures about being in the fire department again, so that would be surprising to me. Slime Pack, gotta be a joke. Slime Pack, I was just talking about you actually last night. I was driving. I spent the night at my 01, which is I hate staying at a shipper receiver, but I did it last night. And on the way there, the one guy that died, Eric Martinez, died on that load, that Tyson load. He was asking about him, and I was like, yeah. I said, I met him like 2 weeks before that, or like 10 days, 2 weeks before that happened. I said, I had to take a logs class because they were out there auditing my stuff, and long story. And I was like, yeah, I was sitting next to Slime Pack on one side and Eric Martinez on the other side. And sometimes, man, you just don't know what's going to happen sometimes. Man, just give the meta glasses to Romaine. He's out here trying to be YouTuber extraordinaire right now. He's trying to get in your lane, Slime. Yeah, I don't know if he fell asleep, what the situation was. I mean, it's hard to say. We didn't have cameras at the time. And It's not like he was around to talk about it after the fact, so. Those of you guys just came in, got me a little red light alert today. That's like my third one, or my third alert since we've got these cameras. And I'm not sure what Tyson he picked up at. Man, they got, I mean, I don't even remember what highway it was on, but they got that one Tyson up in Arkansas. Well, you got to work to get to that shit. Like, that's almost one of those ones where it's just like a decline on that shit. Especially in the winter. Messing with all them hills. Hey, oh yeah, hey, Slimeback, I thought about you today because my truck threw that mysterious transmission fault code today. Green Forest, Arkansas. I don't remember which one it was. I just remember that took some work to get there. More work than I really am looking to put in to going and picking up a load. Man, I'm stocked up in the truck, but I'm damn near thinking about going in this quick trip and getting a damn chicken. I don't know, we'll see. Boy, there's some drama going on out there. I mean, not the real drama, like some of the drama that some of these truck drivers get into, but that drama between Trucker Todd and I forget the name of the other dude, but Cash is King had that live going on where they were talking about, man, that was some good stuff. That made some time fly by today. Listening, or well, last night for one, and today for the other one. What's up, midlife trucker Tom Bell? I'm sure you saw the video that I'm talking about. DIY, yeah, DIY semi and trucker Todd. That's some good drama right there. It's not drama like some of the dumb drama that goes on that I don't generally participate in, but that stuff going on between those guys. Sometimes you're just lucky. When I sold my truck, my guy was making those payments like clockwork, man. Yeah, those videos, I mean, the cash, that side of it was a little bit more amusing than the other side. Because it kind of gave you a glimpse into what was going on. And I just had to replace my steer tires. I thought my steer tires were not that good. Boy, he was riding them bad boys until the rubber fell off. I've always kind of held a little bit of animosity because way back in the day, like 4 years ago, something like that, I don't remember if he clowned on me or clowned on, it was some prime shit, and I probably just said what I normally said, like, I'm in prime, everything seems, I'm whatever it was. And then he kind of clowned me a little bit, so I've kind of held that, I kind of held that against him for a while. It's been a long time, but sometimes I just don't forget when people do that shit. Man, there's 1,000 different ways to be successful out here. And some of these guys that are out here giving advice and all this shit, they're the ones that haven't been able to figure out one of these ways to fucking be successful. And I'm gonna be done with this topic here in just a second. But one of the things that uh, Cash is King said that was man, I hope I can say it how he said it. It made so much sense. He said, some people say they've been trucking for 20 years, but they've only been trucking 1 year 20 times or something like that. That was so that was pretty fire right there. Get a cowboy hat and Hirschbach dance. Corny. Rich's River Smoker is saying that I'm his hero. Okay. Don't take $60 fuel advice and running with your fuel light on to net more. That is so fucking... Man, anytime... I've heard a ton of people talking about this fueling and all this kind of stuff. It ain't like the shit's gonna evaporate. So if I find some shit cheap enough, I'm gonna load up as much as I can, regardless of when it is and what fuel is required for that trip and all this kind of stuff. I think I always hear the fueling thing at when people are talking about super ego, but they're not talking about it like fuel at the cheapest places. They're saying like fuel for the trip, and no, I'm not fueling for no damn trip. I'm fueling for the long run. There you go. I fill up at the cheapest stop on my route. Absolutely. But the payroll cutoff, man, we don't worry about payroll cutoff around here. But IFTA, yeah, we don't worry about that either, man. There's certain things I just don't have no control over. Misfit Flatbedder, that's ridiculous to fuel for the trip. Tell us how dumb you are without telling us. Yep. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. Because if things don't work out at Hirschbach this time. And it's sort of like friendly fire too, you know what I mean? That's like marine on marine crime right there. So Bobby Brown, quick question. Why do all Prime drivers have podcast channels? Not really a lot of them have like podcast channels. I mean, a lot of them out there doing the day in the life out there, filming themselves, getting fuel and backing up and doing all that stuff. I don't know. I kind of came over from a cooking channel, so I was already kind of programmed into that a little bit. But mainly I was doing, mainly I started it just, I sound even goofy saying it, to document my journey, right? Then, those of you guys have been around for a long, long time, remember when I was no hippie trucking and transportation wannabe. That was back before I even got into trucking, when I was in training and all that. So I just did that just to kind of document that. Then after that, boom, the motherfucker started learning enough to where he might be able to help out some new people, which I did. And then now at this point, I've stopped doing for the most part, regular videos and just kind of do live stuff. Because really what I get out of this more than anything is the community aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? So many people I've met within Prime, without outside of Prime. You know, if I'm at the terminal, if I'm at a truck stop, or whatever. That's the benefit of it now, because I'm really not making no money on YouTube because I just don't put in the effort. I don't know how people do it. I don't know how people do that shit, where they're out there documenting the whole day. And I gotta give props to the people that do that don't go out there showing all the dumb shit that drivers do, because every driver's done some dumb shit. It's just dumb drivers that actually post the shit. Alright, slime pack. Let's start some beef. Midlife trucker. He went to Prime in January until March. I didn't even know he was over here. And you know what? I do have some sympathy with the fact that he went through what Slime Pack was going through. He got a truck that had some problems right off the bat. Shit happens. But I mean, if I've been in business for 20 years, I might have a little bit of that cash stacked up for emergencies like that. Now, if you're a brand new driver and you fresh off the boat, not, if you're brand new to trucking and some shit happens, I can understand that. That could be a problem. But don't be out here talking business and all this kind of stuff, and then all of a sudden some minor shit happens, and all of a sudden I don't know. Anyway. Alright. Midlife trucker Tom Bell. My first video was in the parking lot of the hotel, first day of CDL training. I think my first video was talking about getting into trucking, and then I think I might have either on that video or a video right after that said I was going to be choosing between night transportation and Prime. And actually, night transportation was actually who I was leaning towards, probably like 70-30 at the time. Rich's River Smoker, West Virginia. Lives pay better. Not really. Not for me. If I was actually trying to make some more money, I'd be putting up like regular videos. And even if I'm not doing I'm fueling, I'm backing, those actually were doing better. Midlife trucker Tom Bell, he said they didn't have any loads for him. That's funny, because I was actually a team truck during that period of time when he was at Prime, and I wasn't having no problems. Now, I did get on that little period of time where I was doing solo loads, but those loads were paying so much money. Those loads, man, I mean, let me go down the list of some of those loads. Some of those loads, because I got in that little high value area, 205 miles for $28.89. Then the next load, actually we had to deadhead to get to that one, but total 800 miles for $21.69. Then boom, very next load, another one, 128 miles for $19.57. Boom, another high value right behind that. Boom, that one was 216 miles for $19.23. And then that was the last load before my guy got off the truck. So, and then before that, we were running. I mean, I've done more loads with the trainee, but we still got the shit done in 8 weeks, and we sat for 4 days or whatever up in Springfield because I had to get the truck in the shop real quick. So I don't see it You know what I mean? I don't see where. Now, here's what I can speculate is everybody says they're a runner until it's time to get out running. You know, I think, listen, when I was, and I learned it. So me, when I was training my old trainer, I learned when he was training me, this truck ain't fucking stopping until we get somewhat close to where we need to go. And that could be we're out there a day, 2 days, whatever it is, we're getting out there. And I don't know what the situation was with them, but I got the impression that they weren't afraid of some breaks. Midlife trucker Tom Bell, Prime was in his top 4 until they told him he had to go lease. Those of you guys that are watching this, where he lived at is what made that be the case there. Romaine, I can cook up 2 videos right now and have it posted in an hour. Yeah, I'm just saying, boy, you guys, some of you guys have a little bit more dedication than me. I just couldn't be out there doing it. Oh, so you guys talking about starting some beef. All right, I thought it all depends on who's your fleet manager. The seasoned fleet managers get the best loads from sales, and the new ones don't. I'm talking from experience. Okay, well, I'm going to say my fleet manager is probably a little bit more on the experience side. He's definitely got one of the larger fleets, I can tell you that. DJ, what's up? Shamarcus Dickinson just paid off his 3rd truck. So he's in the process of paying off 3 trucks. And there's somebody with 20 years experience. He can't survive at Prime. Somebody tell me how. Just got done watching a video of Shamarcus. He's out here talking about doing some real country shit right there, boy. Like it would be, if I went over to Shamarcus's place, that would be like some culture shock. Out there walking around in some marshland, putting fish in the ponds, and man, that little bit of green space you see behind my house, that's about all the country I'm gonna need right there. Romaine the trucker says Slime Pack ain't even a trucker, she's a YouTuber. You know what? You know what? You can almost agree with that because, and I'm not, let me get around to my point. I could see that being the case, but she's such a good truck driver. She's somebody that needs to train. All right, rip Charlie Kirk. I'm gonna take a pass on that topic right now. All right. Slime Pack is multi-talented. Yeah, you do. You do split that up pretty good. All right. Schmark is asking Slime Pack if she's back on the plantation this weekend. All right. They said Charlie Kirk was in the Epstein list. I don't know anything about that. How many times are you going to say rip? Yeah, exactly. My old fleet manager been with Prime since 2008. He recently, because Salt Lake City terminal manager, and we got a new one. I'm not making anywhere close to what I used to. Sorry to hear that. Misfit flat. All right, I've had enough of this shit. I'm not sure how much longer I'm gonna be on the road, to be honest with you. Man, I'm just waiting for that bill to come in. Taking your truck to Prime is like going to like a high-end restaurant. You go to them restaurants where they got all the food you can't pronounce and they ain't got no prices next to it, anything like that. I gotta tell a funny story about that, but they ain't got no prices on the menu. That's what it's like going and getting your work done at Prime. Basically, you just get surprised by what the bill is. So I got 6 new tires, a DOT inspection alignment. Oh shit, I forgot. They secured my catwalk thing. And the carb thing should be free. So that's going to be some money right there. Romeo's burning. What's up? Midlife trucker, is dirty trucking moved to the streets yet? Man, if I wasn't dealing with my own shit right now, like spending money like it's going crazy, I'd have sent her some money, man. But the problem is, all I'm doing is prolonging the inevitable. Like if somebody said, Lyle, if you go do this, or, if this many people, like you could give her $1 million and she's going to be back on the street. Man, but her videos are so fucking funny. There's a lot of YouTube channels I follow. There's very few I can say I've watched every single video she's ever put out. That's one right there. Jeremy Griggs, what's up? Prime is like a payday loan. Yep, man, they're paying good now, though. If you have to ask, you can't afford it. Okay. Misfit Flatbedder, they always got to do the catwalk. The only reason I had to do the catwalk, should Marcus understand what it's like sometimes when you have other people driving your shit. I had a driver that was going around a curve and the trailer got dragged into the ditch and it kind of landed on the frame of the truck, and it popped the catwalk out. So that's where that came from. It wasn't just like it did it on its own. All right, I will not be taking my truck to Prime Shops. They charge over $300 to replace my side mirror covers and put on chrome ones, and I bought the chrome ones already. I generally don't take my truck to Prime. Usually I just get the work done when I'm at home, but the DOT inspection, which really isn't work, is a lot cheaper at Prime. I had to get the carb compliance shit done at Prime, or I could have done it, I'd had to pay for it at an outside place. The tires, I would say, are cheaper at Prime, but I did get the best steer tires I've ever had at Love's, and I almost got those at Love's this time. Them Hancooks or whatever they are. I just don't like when they put them beads in your tires to balance them. But I was still thinking about getting them at Love's, and then just when I got my other tires, just had them rebalance them. But I normally don't get a lot of work done on it. I normally don't get work done at Prime. First of all, Peterbilt, they don't do warranty work there, so that kind of is one reason. Misfit Flatbedder, every year they ask you, want us to tighten up the catwalk and deer guard too. The only time I've had problems with either the catwalk or the deer guard was self-inflicted wounds. Not necessarily inflicted by me, but people were like, I just put a new deer guard on my truck when I was going to be teaming, because I figured double the exposure, because I'd rather not have the deer guard, but I put one on. But people were asking, well, why didn't I have a deer guard? Well, I had a driver hit like a massive pothole and fucked up the deer guard, so it had to come off. I will say that she sweet talked to get somebody into taking it off for free, so got to give it to that. Prime is overinflating the labor hours. 1 hour worth of work gets billed 4 or 5 hours on your settlement. I guess that depends on how they're billing them. If they're billing them like what the standard shop rates are and stuff, like an alternator takes 2 hours to fix. If a guy can get it done in 15 minutes, then he should deserve that extra hour 45. You know what I mean? So that's just my thought. Man, hold on a second. I gotta get some air up in here. This phone's getting hot. Boy, it's hot out here in Wisconsin. Shoot. I'm like Romaine on this load right here. I'm driving in way too far. I like to get within 60 miles of a load. I'm out here. And my co-pilot stopped talking to me with this new update. That pissed me off. I'm 111 miles out. Let me just get some air on this phone real quick. 3 hours for mirror covers is a little bit much, I do have to say on that. You know, the one thing they do let you do is stay in the truck when you're getting work done. So a lot of dealerships won't let you do that. So I mean, that's good. Normally, if I'm taking my truck to a dealership, I'm in Denver at home, so I don't worry about that much. Midlife trucker iPhone starts getting darker as it gets hot. Yeah, I wouldn't know anything about no iPhones. Straight Android, baby. Man, I'm seriously thinking about one of them chickens. I think they got some good chickens at Costco. My wife works there. She brought home one or two a few times. Those were good. I mean, cheaper than if I was to take it out and do it myself. That's the crazy thing about it. And I went inside the terminal one time when I was there for like 10 minutes. Walked into the terminal, gave my taxes to the people, and I was out. Didn't stop to get no food, didn't stop for nothing. So anyway, that's all. Those of you guys just came in. Got a load leaving the terminal. Marshall, Missouri. It wasn't leaving the terminal. It was picking up in Marshall, Missouri. Going out to wherever it was. It doesn't matter. And they gave me a pre-plan that I could not do because they messed up my appointment time. But because of that, I didn't have to end up going. Well, I could have turned it down. But it wasn't bad enough for me to really turn it down, so I would have probably went down to Alabama. The Piggly Wiggly in Bessemer is a shit show. But since they messed up my appointment, I was able to not have to do that load and then pick up this wonderful load going from Cherokee, Iowa to Jefferson, Wisconsin. Much better load. hopefully I can stay in the matrix, and maybe my next load can go down to Indiana, and then I can bounce back up to Illinois or some shit like that. Jeremy says D's 1188 is super rich. All right. JVC Altoona, Iowa. Yeah, I was really in Iowa. I wasn't like off no major highway. I was like off of like 150, or what was I on? 120 or 20 or something like that. And I was in the middle of it. I wasn't like near no major highway. The closest highway that it ran across was 35. Yeah, I was definitely in them cornfields. And I hate staying at a receiver. I stayed there last night, and it was one of those receivers. The review said it had overnight parking, but you ever been at a place that says it has overnight parking, but it looks like they might want to kick you out at any time? That's kind of what I was in last night. Now, they didn't end up kicking me out, but I haven't been able to get super good sleep because I've been having to split logs and shit like that. Justin got to deliver in Kenosha. I love delivering in Kenosha with that big ass Quick Trip. Or no, is that a Quick Trip? Yeah, it's Quick Trip. Thought it might have been a Quick Start, but they got that big old Quick Trip right over there. Love that place. All right, D's. I love it when it says overnight parking and you have trains every 30 minutes. Trains and stuff like that don't bother me. Man, I get some good ass sleep. Bina in, what's up? Jesus prayed to God. How is he? I don't know what that means right there, but yep, DJ says learn to sleep in chaos and noise. Now, one thing I can't do that I see a lot of people do, I cannot close my front curtains unless it's like super hot and the sun is beaming in, or it might be super cold. Man, I see people on the side of the highway with their curtains closed. Like, I cannot close up these front curtains. I always gotta like be able to look out there real quick. And a lot of times, if I'm in a questionable place, I'll like leave this cracked a little bit just so every now and then I can look out. But about to put my 2015 paid off Prime truck back on the road. Just bought a low profile step deck. I miss those good old days with Prime with no payments. It's a shame they kind of term your truck out a lot sooner than they should. I'm still sitting here. It's like a couple years away, or I don't even know how long, and it's still weighing on my mind right now. And I'm just like, I guess it would depend on how my truck is running at that point, but man, that's gonna be hard to sign up for another fucking lease, or even buy something from Pedigree. DJ survived TNT with the reefer and everyone else complaining. The reefer definitely doesn't bother me. I almost had a chance to use my little parking cards yesterday. The one says you park like an asshole. A lot of students here at the Springfield terminal. Man, the terminal was packed when I was up there. There was barely anywhere to park when I was up there. Luckily, I only had to park close to the terminal that one time to take in my taxes. Other than that, boom, parked my driver lineup, walked in there, got that load immediately, and I was out. So we're just going to have to see how painful these taxes are going to be. JVC, I hated leaving, but I weighed my options. It's not worth it anymore with those new scandalous weekly payments. Boy, them new truck payments are high, I'm going to tell you. I think the payments on this truck was $11.63. So who knows what they're going to be. Like, that's going to be a hard transition. I'm not sure I could do it. But you know what they say. We don't want to roll old iron. That's easy to say. Now that ends are meeting like a motherfucker for you, but for the rest of us, you know. And Shamarcus, I don't know if he's still in here or not. He keeps talking about the plantation. I mean, listen, we do this as a choice. You know, and all that kind of stuff, and it seems to be doing good enough for me. But if you really think about it, this is sort of like sharecropping in a way. Misfit Flatbedder, my new iron was towed 5 times in 3 months. That seems like when all the major problems was happening with a lot of people's trucks is when you first get it. Gonna get you another. Shamarcus, I am done with that shit right there. Just for peace of mind. I could theoretically look at it, because I would have been right around where I would have probably had. I'd have had another truck paid off. My third truck would have been paid off like within a couple months. And I was just like looking at it, and I was just like, I looked at it, okay, how would I feel about having 2 paid off trucks and then just having those 2? And then it was like, well, I could keep 2, and then the third one's gonna be paid off in like 8 months. Man, I can't deal with the mental insanity. Like, I still have PTSD from like some of those calls and shit I was getting. And like every phone call was a different adventure, whether it was like people getting mad at dispatchers or like trucks in precarious situations, or like, oh, I literally have PTSD. Like, I couldn't do it. So when I thought about it, I was like, you know what, I got somebody that's gonna buy this truck. You know what, that's a good plan. I'll get out of that and let some of them young bucks get out there and deal with that mental stress, because I can't do it right now. JVC, when Specialized, just got my 10th oversized load with this company. I'm ready to go out on my own. Good luck on that. Always happy to see people doing good out here. You know what I'm saying? All the people you see struggling, listen, everybody that's struggling, even the ones I threw a little bit of slight shade on at the beginning of this video, I really hope everybody does better out there. Like, everybody. regardless of what company you're at and all this kind of stuff. I mean, really, honestly, um, wish nothing but the best for people. I just hope they get there at some point, because sometimes this whining, it just hurts a little bit too much to listen to. You know, I'm an empathetic kind of person, so when I see somebody struggling, you know, I take that on myself sometimes. Not so much with some of them people, but you know what I mean. But I think, you know, what I think in seeing a lot of what's going on, particularly with the two channels that like to give a lot of advice that haven't really been all that successful, is it would be easier to stomach if there's a little bit of humility to go along with what with what they're talking about. But there is like no humility whatsoever. All right, let's see. Peace of mind. All right, JVC, what's the stinkiest meat plant you've been to? Man, there's a couple. That Smithfield plant in Smithfield, Virginia is horrible. And the nastiest experience I've had, this place may not be overall the worst, but Louisville, Kentucky, I think that's like a Smithfield or something out there. Man, there was so much shit that had leaked on the ground that I took a picture of and put it on Facebook. There was like a puddle right next to my truck. Luckily, I could barely step over it when I was hooked up to my trailer, but it looked like a fluorescent lime green, and it just smelled like shit. And there were like, I opened up the door and tried to close as fast as I could, and probably 14 flies got in here. Smithfield, Virginia. There's an old truck. Actually, the driver that inspired me to come to trucking, or didn't inspire me, but the one that said, okay, the one I said, okay, is if she could do this, I could do it, because she was like corporate before she got to Prime, and she was like older. Now, I think she's younger than me, but still in her 50s and stuff. Her name was Trucker Nene. She did a video about that Smithfield, Virginia plant, and it was called like My Personal Hell or something like that. And she was talking about these all these birds and stuff that were like walking around the trail, like these big ass tall birds. Like, I don't know, they're probably 2 feet high or something. And anyway, just all the carcasses and shit. Like, that place is like, how that place is still able to run is beyond me. Like, that has to have some like violations. Yeah, Smithfield, Virginia. And you know what? That place is so like, the worst part about Smithfield, Virginia is I can still remember this like it was yesterday. I was actually in training at the time, and Shamarcus, they have that lake back there where all them buzzards are at. Yeah, if you want to see a funny video, I mean, it's a longer video. Type in Trucker Nene, My Personal Hell. That video is hilarious. So anyway, the worst thing about that place, regardless of how shitty it was, I had to get, well, when we were in training, we either had to get live loaded or live unloaded at that place. And where you get loaded at, you see the employee entrance. And I guess we were there when all the employees were coming in to work. And I've never seen a more demoralized group of people coming into work. Like, how could you look forward to coming into work, killing a bunch of animals and doing whatever they do in a place like that? But it just looked like it almost looked like people like on a death march or something like that. I'm not exaggerating. That that right there sticks in my head. And then when I was on my way to orientation in Salt Lake City, when I stopped at that TA in Fort Bridger, before I really knew anything about trucking, I saw this older couple sitting in there, and they had that 1,000-yard stare, like, and they were like old, like they were so old. I was like, man, like, how did this happen? Like, what are they still doing out here? D's hate standing in one spot all day. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, so anyway, that I I just remember feeling very sorry about the people that worked at that place, because I almost felt like, you know what, that might have been the only job they could get, either because of their personal situation or their geographical situation. I mean, it was just horrible. All right, well, shit. I'm about to get off here, but hey, if you guys want something to listen to or watch or whatever, trust me, the video is hilarious. Trucker Nene, my personal hell. And she's talking about that Smithfield plant, even though she doesn't mention it. JVC, them Logansport loads still pay good? I'm not sure. Listen, and when I say this, I'm going to be absolutely serious. When I get loads, first of all, I don't see the money. I don't see the money until it's either pre-planned on me, which is new, because I didn't even see that before. But when they send a pre-plan or something like that, I generally don't see it until it's been put on me. The first thing I look at is never the money. The first thing I'm always looking at is where the fuck it's going and where it's picking up if I'm in the Northeast. That right there is enough information for me to know if I'm going to turn down a load or get real picky on a load. The money's kind of an afterthought, because I've kind of came to the conclusion that the numbers are kind of work out the way the numbers work out. Like, I think a lot of people that sit here and nitpick load for load for load and look at every single load, and speaking with a lot of these people, my revenue is around that place or higher, maybe a little bit lower, but it generally seems to kind of average out. And I'd rather have less stress, more peace of mind. Even if I were to make, $700 less a week or something like that, I'd rather make $700 less a week than dealing with some of the headache of some of these places where I don't like I'll go anywhere. If my fleet manager needs me to go, I'll go anywhere. I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna do that, but there's just some places. Well, there's a couple places I won't. But all right, JVC paid off truck 6K week gross were phenomenal. Yeah, I'm telling you. And what's even more phenomenal than the 6K weeks is the weeks where you only gross like 2,500, and you're like, and you still get a good paycheck. Those are the weeks that are the ones that kind of are phenomenal to me, because I'm expecting a big check when I make big numbers, but sometime on them little numbers is when I'm the most amazed, especially if I got fuel kind of in a weird way. Like when I came off of home time, I did okay, but I came off of home time. I always go into home time at minimum 3/4 of a tank of fuel, always. So I don't remember what my gross was last week. It wasn't like super huge or whatever, but I still ended up netting $3,300. So even if I would have had a payment, take, I don't know, whatever truck payments are, take $1,300-1,500 off of that, you're still $2,000 or whatever. So yeah. All right, shit. I'm about to get off of here. But I do appreciate you guys stopping by, letting me talk a little bit of shit. But let me get this comment. JVC's highest net with the paid off truck was $6,500. Man, I don't really remember what mine is. All right, take it easy. I'm out of here. Stay safe out there.